Hi everyone, welcome to Ektron Developer Office Hours. I'm James Stout and I am in Ektron headquarters this week. And sitting next to me is Sethu, you're a senior software engineer, is that right?
Yeah, I'm kind of a lead software engineer for e-commerce module, and I'm also sitting beside James here in Ektron headquarters. Today we are going to discuss about the advanced workflow in newly released 9.1. Right. I'll let that module and let's go ahead.
Yeah. So we also have on the line Jay Burling from Hendrix. Jay?
Hi, I'm Jay Burling, the Director of Web Applications at Hendrix. I plan on just asking lots and lots of questions.
Yeah, I know you were excited about the advanced workflow topic when we were at Synergy. So I was hoping you would be able to ask some really tough questions of Sethu.
I'm hoping.
That's cool.
And Ken McAndrew.
I'm Ken McAndrew. I'm a senior technology consultant with Celerity, an Ektron partner, and I will be asking many questions as well.
Cool. All right, so for anybody listening in, we will take questions on Twitter as usual using the Ektron OH hashtag. So if you have questions about the advanced workflow or anything Ektron or web related, just go ahead and post those and we'll make up something believable. So with that, Sethu, I'll let you take over. I know you've got a demo.
Yeah. Both of you guys there, I mean, you can wait for the demo to go. I mean, then you can ask the questions so that you can get a feel of what is advanced workflow. I mean, why we got that into Ektron 9.1. Then we can go into the question session. It should be a small demo because I mean, it's a quite a big module. I mean, we'll just collect the basics, how to set up a workflow and how to just interact with Ektron content using that workflow and things. And at the end of the demo, I'll just introduce, I mean, how developer friendly it will be, and we'll go and see the SDK which will come with the install and how you guys can play with it and how you can hook up the external business processes and everything into that workflow. But let me go ahead and share my screen and show some of the new stuff which we got into the 9.1. That's nothing but this workflow along with some other features. So I'm going to show a little bit about this workflow.
I can never find that button either.
Yeah. Just full screen and then bring up this one. Yep.
And I think you guys seeing this screen right now?
There
Yes.
we go. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the guys here and the guys who are listening there and everybody is kind of familiar with the Ektron work area, right?
I think it went away again. Do you see it, Ken?
I've got a screen, yeah.
All right, I'll just turn my computer.
You can.
Yeah, I can see the screen. I've just got the, I've got it clicked on, I got it clicked on you, so I've got it focused on you.
Okay. Give me just a couple of seconds. It's kind of loading there. I mean, it's nothing but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the place where the new workflow exists inside Ektron 9.1 and how to use it out of the box and what are the features we're going to offer out of the box to it and how you guys can customize it and extend it using the Windows Workflow Foundation released by Microsoft, and which is the main ingredient for building this component for us. So we have a couple of interesting things inside it. I mean, like escalation process and things like that. It will be very cool. And as a workflow administrator, and you have some other capabilities to do with the workflow. But first, go ahead and see where this workflow lies in CMS. Give me 1 second before I just go ahead and publish one of my contents.
I feel like every time we do these now, we should have a hashtag of live demo alert.
So I have created a folder known as workflow demo folder. What this folder has is, I mean, previously in CMS, when you go and view a folder property, and you used to have a couple of buttons here for viewing the permissions of the folder and for seeing who are managing the approvals which has been assigned to the folder. The approvals are nothing but the workflows assigned to that folder. First, you should make sure you should give all the users in the CMS system proper access to the folder such that these users can be used as a part of the workflow you're going to create. I just added all the users in the system to this folder such that to have all these permissions inside this folder. So this is the place where you can see the users, and I'm just going back one step. Come on. And I'm going to view the properties of the folder again. And if you click on the Manage Approvals button, this is the new advanced workflow which I already saved inside this folder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove this workflow. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to just recreate all fresh in order to give you guys the feel of creating the new workflow. So once you come to that folder, after you assign permissions for all the users inside the folder, you just use this Manage Approvals button here, and you'll get two options here. One is basic workflow, and second one is the advanced workflow. So Ektron still supports the basic workflow, which is used to be our old workflow, such that you will still get the old interface experience if you use the top button, and such that we still support the old users who are just upgrading to 9.1. If they don't want to switch to advanced workflow, the new one, they can still use the old one, such that it is interchangeable between old and new. So the second tab or the button you are seeing here is nothing but the new advanced workflow. If you just click on this one, you'll get an option to pick a 2-step, 3-step, and 4-step approval workflow. These are the default workflows we will ship with the product in Ektron 9.1. If you use the SDK of the workflow, you can still build more step approval workflows. I'm going to show it at the end of the demo how to use the code using the Windows Workflow Foundation, how to build it. But out of the box, what we ship is, we ship just these 3-step approval workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 2-step approval workflow. So this is the GUI, the graphical, user interface for the workflow which is newly built in 9.1. This is a 2-step one. So if you go ahead for the 3-step, you'll get automatically 3 approvers. And if you go for a 4-step, and you'll get a 4-step like this. So I want to just create a simple workflow such that in order to explain you guys what is escalation process inside the workflow here. So what this first approver means, you will get the option of selecting all the users and the groups. You have the option to pick up the groups also. You can select groups and users, whoever you want, and you can assign to the first approver. Let me put JEdit, and I want an escalation for JEdit to be a product manager, saying that if you go ahead and edit one piece of content, and if you submit it, and if the JEdit does not act on that content for at least 1 day, then what happens is our system automatically triggers and just sends an email both to JEdit and product manager saying that it has been escalated to you, whoever the product manager is, and saying that JEdit did not act on that content. So now the product manager will go ahead and just take care of the content, saying that he may approve it, he may decline it, he may send it to the second approver. So this is nothing but just escalating to his manager or whoever whoever his superior or supervisor, such that if the duty of the JEdit has not been done, then it gets escalated like that. That's a new thing known as escalation. We got into that advanced workflow in 9.1. And second approver, I'm just selecting as product manager 2, and I'm saving it. So if you go to this folder and view properties, and if you click on manage approvals, now you can see you already selected a 2-step approval workflow, and you assigned the first approver as JEdit, and you want the escalator to be product manager, and the second approver is product manager 2, and there is no escalation for second approver. So this is the workflow which has been set up for that folder. What right now I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this folder, and I'm going to edit a piece of content and submit it as an admin. So it will go and just fall in the bag of JEdit to do something. And what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to just change the system date time to 1 day ahead, such that it gets escalated to product manager 2. That's what we're going to see it. Here is the piece of content. I'm going to edit it. Just I'm going to write, this is, come on. This is just for testing. I'm going to submit it. So if you see the properties of the content, it will follow the workflow. Right now it's in the place of JEdit, because JEdit is the first user. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just use the system date time here. I'm going to change the date time of the system to the next day, such that it is the escalation period of JEdit to do something until one day. If that one day surpasses, it's going to go to product manager, because he's his escalator or he's his next supervisor. So I'm going to change it to Friday 23 and click on OK. Click on OK. Now the system date is 23. Now we're going to come here and refresh and see whether it has went to product manager. Yeah, see, now it's since JEdit did not act anything in that one day, so since it's a day above, it's automatically escalated to product manager. Now product manager can log in and he can approve it to product manager too. Then immediately JEdit will come and follow on the line. Not fall back on the line, such that then if you go ahead and see the approvals, it will be JEdit and product manager too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just log in as product manager and just going to do an approve, and after that we'll just see the approval chain, such that we can finish off the escalation process, something like that.
While you're relogging in, there's just one question.
Yeah.
One question's popped up.
Yeah.
Is this included in the base package for 9.1? I think the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And apparently both Jay and Oren like that the editor Aloha toolbar is docked.
That is the hardest thing to explain to people.
I bet.
Now I logged in as a product manager. I'll go to the work area, and one of the contents is got escalated to me. Unfortunately, the emails would have sent to both product manager and the JEdit, but I don't have my email open. But otherwise, I could have shown the emails also, the wording and the format of the text of the emails, how it have been triggered, saying that if something has been escalated. But the only way to see how it got escalated to product manager right now is just to go ahead and see in the screen. Now I'm in the work area of product manager, of the product manager, and if you see, we can immediately go to desktop also. So if you see content waiting for his approval right now, this is the content which is in workflow and which is waiting for his approval. If you go ahead and click on that content, and if you click on approve, you can add a comment to saying that this comment will pop up in the email which is going to send for the after the approval. Just excuse me, it's probably taking some time. Yeah, you can add a comment here saying that this is approved by the manager on behalf of JEdit. So this comment dialog and everything has been newly added in 9.1. Previously, when you use the old workflow, you guys have the option of adding the comment only when you guys do a decline. But going forward from 9.1, we're using the advanced workflow. You can include your comments. You're part of each and every step, but those comments will not be persisted anywhere in the database. Those comments will be only part of the emails which you guys are going to get. So when I approved it, so just go to the folder where the content lies and see what's the position of the content. See, now it has been sent to product manager 2 by product manager. Now immediately the approval falls back to its original line, because JEdit is actual approver. Only product manager is the escalator. He just came in between and he just did his job and he just went away. And some other features of this new advanced workflow has something like this. I mean, you can have same users and same groups continuously, because some companies' business process will have that option to have the same user at the first step and the fourth step. And the same user, if you have a JEdit at the starting step, you can have JEdit again at the fourth step. So previously, if you use our old workflow, those options are not has been given in the basic workflow. In the advanced workflow, you can have the same user multiple times in the same workflow chain, because some of the business process of some companies requested, especially while we are doing this feature, they need this option, not have the same user or same group in multiple places in the same approval chain. So we provided that option too. Another options what you will get using this workflow is, in order to show those options, I need to log out as product manager and log in as admin. Give me 1 second. So right now your content is in workflow. It is waiting to act like somebody like with the product manager too. He's what in the chain next. I mean, if you go to properties and you can see that product manager 2 is the one who has to do something. But if you are an administrator, if you are a user in administrator groups, or if you are a CMS user and having a role, I mean the system-wide role known as content workflow admin, this role which I am showing right now, if you has that role and if you are the CMS user, and you can have some options like what I show right now to make the content which is in a workflow to get back to the normal state, like I mean like killing the workflow or just making it a force published. You have the options right now like this. So if you see the menu buttons here, you have an option for force publish. What this force publish means, I mean, so if you are in the middle of the workflow, if you are in the second person, you just I mean, if you somehow feel that, I mean, you don't whatever the content is there is okay for publishing, and you want that to go live and show up on your live website, you can force publish it, such that it will just kill all the steps of the workflow. It will directly go into approved state, and it is ready for showing up on the website. And again, the other option what you will get is, I mean, if you go to manage approval, click on manage approvals button there. If you don't like the workflow until what is happened right now, so you want to rearrange the process. I mean, you want to restart the process again, such that such that user from the first step will come and perform the actions again. You have the option to cancel the workflow. Canceling the workflow will not make it into an approved state, such that it will still stay in a checked-in state, such that you guys can come in and start off the workflow again. These two options are been only available for the CMS user who has the system-wide role, content workflow admin, or a user who is in the administrators group. And other than that, these are the basic things which will come for the advanced workflow in 9.1, and you guys can start on playing with it, and you guys can do so many things. This is the this is the work area part of it, which comes out of the box. Now I will show you a place where you guys can go and get the SDK of this workflow and extend it. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. If everybody goes to an Ektron install folder, right? Where you guys install Ektron on a machine or a server on a VM. If you go to Ektron folder, you guys will have an CMS 400 SDK. This SDK, you guys can install this SDK a couple of ways. While you are doing an Ektron install for any new version, 9.1 or 9.0 or 8.0, it will ask you in order to install the SDK at the time of install itself. There will be a checkbox when you guys are doing an install. If you guys did not click on the, mark the checkbox and forget to install the SDK, you guys can go to the particular version and utilities section. There will be an exe known as here, CMS SDK setup.exe. If you use that exe, it will just update your SDK to the latest version, and it will put on the necessary code we have just put inside that SDK, which will be useful for you guys, which I already did. And if you go to the Ektron install folder, there will be a folder known as CMS400 SDK. Inside that SDK, there will be a folder known as content workflow. Inside that content workflow, there will be a folder known as code. If you guys open the solution, the content workflow SDK sample solution, which I am showing here, it will open up something like this. So this is the base skeleton of the workflow which you guys are seeing there. You guys are seeing a 2-step, 3-step, 4-step. This is a 5-step sample which has been provided for you guys. There is a toolbox where you guys can use all the activities which Microsoft Windows Workflow Foundation will be provided to you guys. For the phase 1, we are just supporting only state machines in the Windows Workflow Foundation. We have plans to support the sequential workflow part of it too, but you guys still can use sequential workflow inside the states I'm showing here. For instance, this is a state. Give me 1 second. For instance, this is a transition of a state where you can drop activities here. You guys can drop a sequence actually inside this activity, and you guys can do whatever you guys can want. And other thing is, by default, Ektron will provide some activities. Those activities, you guys can get from the binary ektron.cms.contentworkflow.dll by choosing the items from the toolbox. If you go like this and if you browse to your site and just click on that binary, you will get all the activities which are part of those binary. Give me 1 second. I'm going to browse to Ektron site and just select that binary to show you guys what are all the default Ektron built activities.
So Ken, do we have any other questions on Twitter right now?
Yeah. Well, here's a question that one for clarification.
Yeah.
So, if you're to do the force publish, you have to be in that role group or administrator.
Yeah.
So there's the force publish. Is there a way to force to the next level, to the next approver? Just force it one approver, or is that specifically what the?
That's a good question. That's the next thing we are going to do. The initial version, you guys can force publish or cancel it. You guys can completely cancel it or force publish it, but you guys cannot force it to whatever the step you want. That's the next big thing we are working on. Not only to the next step, we are just planning to work on to go on whatever the step you guys want. Like 1 to 3 or 3 to 2 or 2 to 5 or something like that. What's the next thing in this advanced workflow we are developing?
So that's coming in a future version then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a workaround, Sethu, could you make the escalation point for, say, step 3 be the same as the approver for step 4?
They can do that.
Yeah,
they can work around their business process like that, but not directly from like what he's asking, like a force publish.
Right. Yeah, I'm just looking for a workaround for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that permission role, was that folder specific or was that site-wide?
The permissions, which one? I'm saying the content.
The role.
The role is system-wide.
System-wide. Okay.
Because I think one suggestion that came up on Twitter that might be a good idea is to make a way to give that permission on a folder basis. So X group can do force publishes in this folder, another group can do force publishes in the other folder, but you're not giving superpowers to a group of people.
We can take that one. We can consider that.
So something that I would say we could try there is just to say maybe remove the traverse permission from the folder or something like that for somebody who really shouldn't have access to it anyway.
So I selected the ektron.cms.content workflow binary from my site bin, and I click on OK. What it does, it automatically populates the activities created by Ektron here, such that you guys can use these activities. So if you see the general tab here, the delete instance, get item, update instance, wait for item event, and all the 3 things are the default Ektron activities which you guys can use to play around this one. And what's the other main thing is, so you guys have first approver, second approver, third approver, fourth, fifth, and the final state. You guys want to build multiple states after this one too, such that you guys can drag and drop a what we say a state here, something like this, and name it a 6th approver, and and you can put 2 transitions to it as an approved and declined, and there is a detailed document how to build all this one. But only thing is, there are some naming conventions which not naming conventions. If you go to first approver, and if you see the variables of the first approver, there is an approver name variable. This variable will be there, I mean, for all the states. So if you add a new state, we expect you guys to create the variable name, the variable known as approver name, and just give that the name whatever you are giving here, such that, I mean, our system knows that you guys have given that you guys have added a 6th approver, and we are going to just process 6 steps instead of 5 by adding this custom workflow. So for instance, if you go to 5th approver, there will be a variable name known as approver name, and you're going to give that whatever the name as 5th approver. Whatever the name you guys give here, you guys need to update it in a config file inside your site, such that, I mean, if you go to this is my site, and the site, under the site route, there will be a config file known as ektron.cms.conf.config. So for instance, in a 4-step approval, I mean, for a second approver, for a second approver, I mean, there is an activity name here. That activity name is nothing but the variable which the name which I am just showing to you guys right now here. This one, I mean, the 4th approver, this approver name, this 4th approver, the default is the value of the approver name. So that one is that nothing but you guys are just updating that inside the site. I mean, what are the values, you are just giving it there. You just need to update that inside this config, such that we can read this from this config and just continue the flow for what all the new things you guys are added. So this config directly hooks up with the extra things you guys added in the custom workflow, and just continue with the flow, such that, I mean, if you guys create a new 5-step approval, you guys need to just copy all of these things, copy, paste, and just add one more step for a 5th approver, and just make sure that you guys giving the proper names for the transition and the for the proper names for the activity names and the transition names, and it will hook up to our system, and it will automatically keep showing in the UI of the work area as a new 5-step approval. And you guys can hook up your business process into the activities. Like that. I mean, you guys can drag and drop your own native activity. I mean, in the documentation, we guys clearly provided how to create a own activity, and just connect to the toolbox and drag and drop here, such that you guys can update so many things in the external systems. You guys can shoot an email. You guys can do whatever you want by dragging and dropping that activity which has the code which does all these actions inside it. Unfortunately, I mean, I can extend this session. It will be a very long one if we keep on just presenting all that one. Unfortunately, I don't have the complete demo which shows the clear hookup between all the external items. We can have a separate session such that it will be a purely SDK developer session, such that we can discuss about all these things. And
yeah, there's several questions that have come in on Twitter, and I would definitely say this is going to merit a second week. This is real powerful stuff.
Yeah. And for this demo for this week, I mean, I have only this one. If we plan for a second week for a purely SDK demo centric one, we can have a other thing. But I can take the questions right now. The demo is kind of over. And yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just start reading some of these from Twitter, and we'll go from there. So Alex asks, will the final approvers, the folks with the final publisher role, changes be moved to the beginning of the workflow, or will they auto-publish? I'm not sure I understand exactly what he's asking about. I mean, once you hit the end of the workflow, it's going to publish. But I guess on a similar question, so if you set up like...
You know what? I think what he's saying is if they make changes to the content, is it going to kick back to the first person to restart the approval process? I think that was the old way the workflow used to work.
Okay, let me answer this question. So what the customer is asking is, I mean, if there is a 5-step approval process, and he submits a content, and what happens is, I mean, if he is in the 3rd step, and if third person did not approve it, but he actually made some changes to it, and he wants to kick back it to again the first user, like force all approvals thing, which used to be in the old workflow. But at the first phase of this advanced workflow, no, it has to follow the chain. It cannot go back. It can only go back if he declines it. If he edits it and if he wants to go it to the first user, that's the next phase. What we are doing is that sending the approval authority to whatever the phase he wants. But right now it has to follow the chain. He cannot send it to the first user.
Okay, so if you're in a 5-step chain and user 5 makes a change, it's going back to user 1.
Pardon?
Yeah. So if you're in a 5-step chain, and it's gone through the first 4, you're on the 5th guy, and he's the guy that's going to say, if I approve this, it's out, or if I reject it, it goes back. But he says, I'm going to make a change. He goes in and edits it and says, publish. It's going back to step 1?
No, it's not going to go back to step 1.
It'll stay with him, and then when he approves it, he's saying, I approve it, and it's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're out of time right now, and Sethu and I are going to lose the room that we're in. So we'll answer the questions on Twitter as best we can after the fact, and we'll continue this conversation on another day. So thanks, guys, for joining, and we'll see you.
I got a little message here. I got a little message from Twitter. Just when I run into that. Dustin thought something was funny.
Okay.
We'll find out what it was in about 30 minutes.
Dustin laughing because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, most probably we can have a more detailed SDK-oriented session so that all developers can jump in and use the Windows Workflow Foundation. That's what my main intent also. But today, I want to get you the initial feel of the workflow. We can dig deep and go through the SDK, and we can do so many amazing things using that SDK and Windows Workflow Foundation. But we need still more time.
You sparked a conversation, so definitely.
Yeah.
That's always good. Thank you, Sethu.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jay and Ken. And we'll follow up on this soon.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.